We live in a world obsessed with wealth numbers, salaries, net worth, bank balances, luxury cars, and social media flexing, yet quietly, and often painfully confused about value. And that confusion is the reason so many people chase money their entire lives and still feel empty, because wealth and value are not the same thing, and never have been. Wealth is what you accumulate, value is what you create, and the tragedy of modern life is that we are taught from childhood to count wealth but rarely taught to build value. Think about it. From the moment we are young, we are asked, what do you want to become? Not who do you want to serve, not what problem do you want to solve, but what job pays the most, what career is safe, what path brings the biggest paycheck. And so we grow up measuring success in digits instead of impact. And then we reach adulthood, wondering why despite earning more than our parents, we feel more anxious, more replaceable, and more lost. Because wealth without value is fragile. It depends on systems, markets, bosses, trends, and timing, while value is resilient. It follows you everywhere, because value lives inside skills, thinking, character, creativity, and usefulness. Wealth can disappear overnight, a market crash, a job loss, inflation, a bad investment, a political shift, and suddenly what you thought defined you vanishes. But value cannot be taken from you, because value is not stored in a bank, it is stored in your mind, your hands. And your ability to adapt. History proves this over and over again. Empires collapse, currencies fail, fortunes evaporate, yet people who hold value rebuild faster than anyone else. Artisans, thinkers, engineers, doctors, writers, strategists, traders who understand human needs. They may lose money, but they never lose relevance, because the world always pays for value eventually, even if it delays the payment. The mistake most people make is chasing wealth directly, because wealth looks like the finish line. But wealth is only a byproduct of value creation. Money does not come from desire, it comes from usefulness. The market does not reward effort, it rewards outcomes, and outcomes are rooted in value. If you solve a small problem for one person, you get small wealth. If you solve a massive problem for millions, you create massive wealth. But the direction always starts with value first, money second. Yet social media reverses this equation, showing you luxury before labor, rewards before responsibility, and results without process, so people copy the surface without understanding the source. They want the car, but not the skill, the lifestyle, but not the leverage, the freedom, but not the discipline. And that is why so many people stay stuck, because wealth is external and visible, while value is internal and invisible at first, and building something invisible requires patience, faith, and delayed gratification, qualities that are not celebrated in a dopamine-driven culture. Value often feels boring in the beginning, because learning is slow, practice is repetitive, and progress is silent, while wealth looks exciting, loud, and instant. But that excitement is often rented, not owned, borrowed, not earned, and temporary, not lasting. Real wealth, the kind that stays, multiplies, and survives generations, only comes from sustained value creation over time. Look at people who truly last, not viral influencers, not lottery winners, not overnight sensations, but builders, founders, craftsmen, thinkers, leaders. They all spent years unnoticed, mastering something useful to others before the world noticed them. Value compounds quietly, while wealth makes noise. And that noise attracts envy, pressure, and instability, if it is not supported by real value underneath. This is why people who get rich too fast often lose it faster, because money without value has nothing to anchor it. There is no system, no skill, no understanding to sustain it, so it leaks away through bad decisions, ego, and dependency on luck. Value, on the other hand, creates options. When you have value, you are not desperate, because you know you can create again. Desperation is what makes people compromise ethics, chase shortcuts, and fall for scams, while value gives patience. Patience gives clarity, and clarity creates better decisions. Wealth asks, how much can I get? Value asks, how much can I give? And ironically, the people who focus on giving value often end up receiving more wealth than those who chase wealth directly, because the market trusts value creators more than wealth chasers. Value creators think long-term, they build relationships, systems, and reputations, while wealth chasers think short-term, they extract, exploit, and exit as soon as possible. And the world may reward both briefly, but it only sustains the first. Another truth most people avoid is that wealth can be inherited, but value must be built. You can receive money without becoming capable, and that is why inherited wealth often disappears by the third generation, because money without value does not teach the discipline required to preserve it. Value, on the other hand, can be passed through mindset, education, and standards. Teaching someone how to think, how to solve problems, how to learn, and how to adapt is more powerful than giving them money, because value creates money again and again in different forms across different environments. This is why immigrants often rebuild faster than natives after losing everything, because they carry value, not assets, language, skills, work ethic, resilience, trade knowledge, while others carry comfort, not competence. Value also determines freedom more than wealth ever will. You can have money and still be trapped by lifestyle expectations, debt, social pressure, or fear of loss, while someone with high value can live, simply take risks, pivot careers, and walk away from bad situations because they know they can rebuild. Freedom does not come from how much you have, but from how much you can create. If everything disappeared tomorrow, would you still be useful? Would you still be able to generate income? Would people still seek your skills, advice, or services? That question defines real security. Not your savings account value is also deeply connected to meaning. Humans are wired to feel fulfilled when they contribute, not when they consume. Endless consumption numbs while contribution energizes, and this is why many wealthy people feel empty, while teachers, nurses, craftsmen, and creators with modest incomes feel deeply satisfied, because value aligns effort with purpose. Money alone cannot provide purpose because money is a tool, not a mission. Value gives direction to money, otherwise wealth becomes a burden rather than a blessing, creating anxiety, fear, and isolation instead of joy, connection, and peace. The goal is not to reject wealth, but to understand its proper place. Wealth should follow value, not replace it. Money is a magnifier of who you already are. If you have value, money amplifies your impact. If you lack value, money amplifies your emptiness, your ego, and your instability. And this is why the real question is not, how do I get rich, but how do I become valuable to the world? How do I develop rare skills? How do I understand human problems? How do I think independently? How do I adapt when systems change? How do I create more than I consume? When you ask these questions daily, wealth becomes inevitable, because markets, economies, and societies always pay for value, even if imperfectly, even if unfairly, even if slowly. Value always wins in the long run, because value solves problems, and problems never disappear. They only change form. Technology changes platforms, evolve, industries rise and fall, but human needs remain: connection, safety, efficiency, meaning, health, understanding, and progress. And those who align their value with these needs remain relevant across generations. So if you are choosing where to invest your time, energy, and focus, do not ask what pays the most today. Ask what builds value that cannot be replaced by automation, trends, or politics. Do not chase the applause, chase the craft. Do not envy lifestyles, envy skills. Do not compare income, compare competence, because competence creates confidence, and confidence attracts opportunity. Wealth is a result, not an identity. Value is an identity, and once you build it, no one can take it from you. Markets can crash, currencies can fail, and systems can change, but value walks with you into every future, and that is what truly makes you rich.